All right, so we're going to talk about Jupiter. Why do you need to know about Jupiter? Well, Jupiter is going to tell you what area of your life you might attract the most luck. What area of your life can you take the most risks without it being a disaster? What area of your life do you maybe don't have to work as hard on because that natural enthusiasm, that natural beneficial energy is already in there? What area of your life is this? So we're going to start with the signs, and then I'll do another video about the houses Jupiter is in. So I also have Venus through the signs, Venus through the houses videos, and I will post links below if you want to check that out. So Jupiter is about optimism, and it's really about spreading energy, spreading joy, spreading enthusiasm, shedding light on situations. So that's why sometimes it's linked to wisdom and knowledge. It's also linked to wealth, generosity. How will you acquire things? Through what method will you acquire things? Also could be what you attract, right? Now, different than Venus, where Venus can sometimes have that same element, because remember, Venus deals with money, but Jupiter deals more with what comes your way. Venus can deal more with who you attract, who might be beneficial, who might care about you, what types of people are drawn to you as a person. But Jupiter is bigger. And I don't mean more important than Venus, because Venus is a personal planet, so it's very important. But Jupiter is an outer planet. So the personal planets are considered planets: Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars are personal. Those are more traits. When in astrology, those are more assigned to your personality traits or your individual traits, right? When we look at the outer planets, Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, whatever's considered outer, these are more generational because they take longer to transit. So people born in the same clusters of time have the same sign: Jupiter in Cancer, Jupiter in Aries, Saturn in Scorpio, whatever the case may be. And so that's why sometimes we're talking about outer planets. We're not talking just about your life, or we're not just talking about your personality or your day-to-day life. It's more a bigger picture. The outer planets are more bigger picture. Your personal planets can more talk about your day-to-day life, if that makes sense. So Jupiter, we're talking about your ability to expand, express. And since it's expressive, we're going to talk about how you can impact other people or society or the bigger picture of that sign. Let me give you an example. So Jupiter in Aries is about being able to land on your feet. So this could be a person who doesn't have Aries in any other place of their chart. They have no Aries in their chart, but they land on their feet. And they have moments of being independent and attracting attention for that independence. So Jupiter is light. It is seen, right? It allows us to get things we didn't really work for, right? Whereas Saturn's going to make us work for it. Jupiter is kind of like, I'm here, take me, right? And so when you have Jupiter in Aries, it can build, I have notes, so I'm looking down, builds confidence. This is a person who can sometimes build confidence through example, because they're just able to kind of like just do things and have luck at it. So whereas somebody else might be impulsive and it's a disaster, a Jupiter in Aries person, it might work out for them because they're meant to do that, because the energy is aligned, right? That is what's been bestowed on their chart. So they don't believe in limits. Jupiter in Aries person doesn't believe in, you can't do that because it's never been done before. Jupiter in Aries feels like, well, why can't it be done? Why can't I be the first one to do it? Sign of self, Aries. So structure doesn't tend to suit the need of the Jupiter in Aries person. In some ways, they have to kind of defy what others may say they need to do. Okay. In Jupiter in Aries, there's an aura of confidence they have. They don't seem unsure of themselves. So just to give you some examples of people who have, famous people who have this sign that you may know of. Whitney Houston had Jupiter in Aries, and Whitney was known as the voice. Why? Because she was so talented. No matter what life threw her way, what people said about her, Whitney was incredibly talented and is still widely respected today for her talent. And so, well, Whitney had a lot of fire energy. I believe Whitney was either Leo Sun, Aries Moon, or Aries Moon, Leo Sun. I'm pretty sure she was a Leo Sun, Aries Moon, if I remember correctly. But so she had a lot of fire energy, which we could see, right? But Whitney is an example of that. Jupiter in Aries. She rose to the top. She was just really known, and there really is no one that you could compare to Whitney, right? Like, you have people every couple of generations, you have people trying to compare singers to legendary singers, but sometimes it just doesn't work. Like, you cannot have another Whitney Houston, right? Like, not to that capacity. You could have someone else who's very talented, but you can't replace the voice. Michelle Obama, Jupiter in Aries. So, see what I'm talking about. Energy doesn't always flow constantly. There's times where it's building up. So, Michelle Obama obviously is married to Barack Obama. So she obviously got a lot of attention. So one, she had her own career. So she always had her own career. They both were lawyers. She made a name for herself, not just First Lady or Michelle Obama, Barack Obama's wife, but she's also made a name for herself for who she is, and just her trying to empower women and all the different things, initiatives that she's involved in. So Michelle Obama, she recently, it was last year, she put out her memoir. I think it was called Becoming, and that was about her. And obviously she talks about her husband, Barack, and her family, right? Because that's a part of her life. But see how Michelle is Jupiter in Aries, because she's not just known, she's known. People know who Michelle is outside of Barack because of her Jupiter in Aries. So even though she is married to a very, important, historical figure. I mean, I know I'm saying history, but I'm like, Barack Obama made history. Like, she still has a name of her own, which is Jupiter in Aries, and it's expanded because we see it. Jupiter is what we see. 50 Cent also has Jupiter in Aries. And regardless of what people's opinion is of 50 Cent, he has multiple businesses. Like, he was, he's made money in so many different ways. He went from just being a rapper, and then he had he was the leader of the rap group. Like, he put together G-Unit and all that. Then he had was it Vitamin Water? He had a stake in Vitamin Water or something. And then he was, and then he had power, So it's like 50 Cent has done so many things that Jupiter in Aries, no matter what people think about him, his Jupiter's in Aries. So he's pretty much always going to find a way to get attention for what he individually does. Jupiter in Taurus sets a foundation, that a lot of us can use. Jupiter and Taurus people tend to build the foundation. People tend to build up based on what Jupiter and Taurus people have already done. They attract stability. So these people can attract stability. They can attract a relationship that allows them to be stable. They can attract opportunities. So that's what I'm talking about with Jupiter. It does something different than the other planets, right? Jupiter is kind of bringing things to the forefront. So, what I didn't say about Jupiter and Aries is I guess there's a pitfall of being too independent, being too full in yourself. I don't think we've really seen that with Whitney and Michelle Obama, but I know people probably can say that about what they've seen or their opinions on 50 Cent. So I do want to say Jupiter can have a negative component to it depending on how a person chooses to express the energy. Jupiter and Taurus, so they set a foundation for us all to use. Jupiter and Taurus tend to sometimes come across as very practical, polite, kind of charming. A lot of times people remark Taurus tends to care about their appearance. It's typically a polished. It's not eccentric or anything like that. Their demeanor, how they come across, they kind of come across as very well polished, well put together. They can attract stability. They can attract strong socioeconomic status, positions, jobs, because Taurus is about foundation and money. It's about feeling secure. And when we put Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and risk-taking, this is a person who tends to find opportunities to be secure. This might be the person straight out of college who finds a good paying job and the rest of their friends haven't. This could be a person who inherits something that sets them up for the foundation for the rest of their life. That's the Jupiter and Taurus energy. Sometimes Jupiter and Taurus can, overindulge in life's pleasures. You have to be careful with that because Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus likes to be relaxed. And Jupiter is very relaxed. Jupiter don't care about responsibilities. Jupiter is not Saturn. So Jupiter's influence anywhere in your chart, you have to watch that area of your life where you might overindulge, where you might be too relaxed, where you might forget too much what you need to actually be doing. But Jupiter in Taurus can be really good with resources and charitable opportunities, and not making money off the charity, but helping with charities, helping with opportunities that give other people some type of starting point. All right, so They work hard. They you know, they might work a little slower, but they get it, right? They get it. You know, they don't have that kind of instability we can see with other signs. An example, a celebrity example, Bruce Lee. All right, if you think of Bruce Lee, like how foundational he is for this concept, right, of his, you know, his movies, you know, with karate, like how, like a lot of people were introduced to karate because of his films, who had never really thought about it before. So Bruce Lee is an example of that Jupiter and Taurus. Like you can bring something, you create something, right? You build something that really wasn't as popular, or something that wasn't there before in some way. Jupiter and Gemini, adventurous type. You know, this person will draw the most luck when they are capricious, when they are allowing their curiosity to lead them somewhere, where some people can get very caught up in some bad situations because they're too curious. Jupiter and Gemini is supposed to be curious. You are supposed to, you know, be open to learning and going on excursions and saying, I'm going to do this because I want to learn more about it. You know, curiosity does not kill the cat in this, in this sense. Your Jupiter and Gemini personality, the demeanor, they kind of come across as is very like open. Some can be kind of like bubbly, like talkative, you know, really expressive verbally. People are expressive verbally. You know, the negative to it, I mean, I think sometimes it can be like some people can have disorganization because there's so much, they kind of can get by on their talking. The Jupiter and Gemini can probably talk you into they can gain from what they say. So Mercury and Gemini, remember it's a personality trait. Mercury is dealing with more personality, and how you communicate on a day-to-day basis can kind of get in trouble with that, right? If that's how you're communicating, because Mercury and Gemini is very inquisitive, but sometimes they get in trouble with what they say, or can get in trouble for being perceived as sneaky or gossipy, right? But Jupiter bestows this kind of luck in that area. So Jupiter and Gemini is good with words. This could be a great place for people who want to write, be writers, people who are in speaking engagements, right? People who can make money off their words. A famous person with Jupiter and Gemini is Oprah Winfrey. Okay, so that's an example that like capricious, like that using your ability to talk and speak to make money is like the Jupiter and Gemini energy. Or if you don't want to make money off it, you just can have luck with what you say. You don't get in trouble for what you say. People are drawn into your words. But definitely, I think a Jupiter and Gemini person should try to make money off of that. Writing, hosting, anything that requires them to have to speak or use verbal language, verbal language. All right, Jupiter and Cancer. So, I mean, this is considered a very positive placement. I don't think any of them are negative, but certain ones just have an extra boost of positivity. So Jupiter and Cancer, it's because Jupiter can bring us opportunities, and Cancer, though we know it's like nurturing and all that, Cancer is known for business as well. Cancer, remember, it's the opposite sign of Capricorn. So there's some, the need for them to feel secure is the same as Capricorn's need, but it's just a different method in which they go about doing it, right? And so these people tend to be trusted. Jupiter and Cancer people tend to trust their motives. So where some people might not know what to think about the Jupiter and Scorpio person, Jupiter and Cancer is a little bit more trustworthy. They feel connected to you. People might be drawn to you. So this is a great for people who want to get in careers or situations where they have to like connect to other people, because it's going to be easy for you. And even if you don't have a lot of water house placements, or you don't see yourself as somebody very emotional, it doesn't matter, because people are naturally going to be drawn to that energy. They're going to say like, wow, you're so understanding, you're so empathetic. So definitely careers dealing with that. You might come across as caring, hospitable. You're the type of person, someone comes around, you're like, oh, would you like a drink of water? Like very, very understanding of people's needs. This can definitely help in interpersonal relationships, right? Because it's light. Jupiter is light, so it lifts up that emotional aspect of you. And so around others and involving other people, you can, attract that type of energy to you, right? You can attract people who care about you, or people who like you, or people who want to nurture you, people who want to take care of you. The pitfall of this can sometimes be overindulging in emotion, because Jupiter is so expansive and Cancer is so deeply emotionally driven. There can sometimes be a misalignment here. So though this is a good sign for like money and securing money and getting noticed for your ability to make money, there are some pitfalls that you want, some people with this place want to be cared for so much. It kind of come across as a little bit, overindulgent in emotion. All right. But someone famous who Steve Jobs had this sign, and Nelson Mandela had this sign. I think in both of them it obviously manifested differently, because I remember hearing from in his book, Steve Jobs, some people, well, either in his book or someone else's book, I don't remember, but that he was hard to work for because he demanded excellence. Like he demanded a certain quality, right? As the head of Apple. And I think with that, his aspect, Jupiter in Cancer, again, I would have to look at his whole chart. It probably was in a house that wasn't very emotional, but also he did touch people by creating this product, right? He touched people by being able to produce and lead technology that changed the course of people's lives. So in that aspect, I see where he has Jupiter in Cancer, because we're talking about the money opportunities, right? And even if people don't believe he was warm and fuzzy as a boss, he was able to touch other people and help people create those attacks. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different things we've been able to do because of technology. So he's been able to kind of impact society in that way. Whereas Nelson Mandela, you can see more because he fought for people. He cared about people's freedom, and he's like, apartheid is wrong. And he really fought and endured so many different tribulations in order to try to, dismantle the system, which was oppressive to native South Africans in South Africa. So that's an example of Jupiter in Cancer as well. Virgo. So Jupiter and Virgo can have a luck making a very specific, unique talent that you have a career. Bring it to the forefront. This is where Virgo can really shine. And I know Virgo energy can sometimes be hidden or feel restricted, or not restricted, but it's not to the forefront. It's kind of like an overly analytical process, right? So Virgo energy can get stuck with such good ideas, but not put them out there. This is where Virgo really shines with Jupiter, because Jupiter brings things to light. I have to show you this. That's Jupiter. I'm going to show you this. We're going to see this. So, they can be very keen with specific details. This person has a knack for seeing things other people didn't see. Like Jupiter in Virgo, it's like they notice things that help positively lift things up. So Virgo can have this reputation of being critical, and Virgo is nitpicky and whatever the case may be. But when Jupiter is in Virgo, it's a different energy to Virgo. That's why I say like this stuff is all important. They can attract situations to them by seeing the possibility. Nobody else noticed that if you just did this, you would have this. They can kind of like sneak in the back door, right? The front door is locked. The front door is locked and people are banging, trying to get in that door. But then they sneaking in through the back because they see the small details that you didn't see. So that's Jupiter and Virgo energy. They can attract opportunities by being perceptive, by analyzing. They kind of see things, and they are able to attract things to them because they're able to use their mind to think their way out of anything almost. And it can come across kind of like abnormal, kind of pensive people most of the time. An example, celebrity example of that, Tom Hanks. When you think of Tom Hanks, it's like, I haven't personally heard anything negative about Tom Hanks. A lot of celebrities are getting like exposed these days. I don't know, maybe, every other month is somebody new. But for the most part, like just think about how he comes across as like an average person. Like Tom Hanks interviews, like if you watch him, it's almost like you wouldn't be afraid to approach him, or you wouldn't be afraid to have a conversation. Like he's not an intimidating celebrity. Like just seems like an average, like humble person, which is Virgo energy is very humble. So what I'm going to say about Libra. Jupiter and Libra. So first of all, they tend to have a disposition of being very inviting people. They're not offstandish. You don't look at them like, oh, I don't want to talk to that person. Jupiter and Libra people can benefit because they attract. They are very charming, pleasant. Venus rules Libra. So sometimes we also can see here where people view them as attractive, or their appearance can get them attention, right? They believe in things being fair, so they're able to spread awareness of how to make things fair and impartial. But they're different in Jupiter and Sagittarius because Sagittarius has an agenda. Jupiter and Libra is about, hey, I'm going to float these ideas out here to just let you know, like this. So they kind of bring things to the forefront. So Jupiter and Libra people can be really good with like, this needs to not be, this is wrong. And I'm gonna let you kind of figure out what's wrong about this. It's not a pushy type of energy. They want to bring others into the fold. So when Jupiter and Libra see something wrong, they're not usually the types that's gonna say, that's wrong and bye, gotta go. I figured everything out. It's more like, this is wrong. I need other people to know this is wrong, or I need other people to know this is right. They often don't intend, even if they don't intend on being social, they can't help it because people are drawn to them. People sometimes want to be their friend, be in the mix with them. An example, they can also have luck, like I said, Jupiter and Taurus in marriage opportunities, drawing a partner to them, okay? Or feeling like their relationship is a partnership. A lot of people are looking for a partnership and they feel like they don't get that, or it's one side, or one person has all the power, influence in a relationship. And a celebrity example of this is Prince. Prince had Jupiter and Libra. And one thing that I think can be connected to that is, remember when Prince sued his record label? I believe he was with Warner Brothers at the time, and he, I think he wrote slave on his face at one point because he was basically saying like the record labels were taking like the royalties from the artists, and that wasn't fair. And that's when he called himself the artist formerly known as Prince. And this was really I wouldn't say only one, but he's one of the like only ones at that time challenging record labels. Like, no, we're the artists. We have rights too. You can't just take our talent and take all of the money we're making. So Prince is an example of that Jupiter and Libra. Like, he was like, and remember, Jupiter is aware. He didn't do this quietly. He shed light on this concept, which helped other artists. Like, no, they can't just take all your money, or no, they can't just give you these really bogus record deals, take most of your money, and you're left with just pennies. So Prince is an example of that. Jupiter and Scorpio. So, they kind of come across as contained. This person, you might not be sure what to think of them. They kind of seem like they're very contained. Because remember, we're talking about disposition. Okay. And they attain a lot. Their methods are the interesting thing about Jupiter, because Jupiter's about light and Scorpio is about kind of hidden a little bit. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto and Mars. So you have an interesting dynamic here where it's like Jupiter wants to shed light, but Scorpio is about not putting all your cards out there. So this is an energy where a person can still gain and attract for their use of power. Your Jupiter or Scorpio person. Now I'm about to tell you something a little creepy. They're positive. There are some people who've had this placement, but I'm going to give you an example. So you have to use all energy for good. I am not in any way, shape, or form saying Jupiter and Scorpio is a bad placement, because I know plenty of lovely people with this placement. But let me give an example. They use their instincts to make decisions about gain and money and power and control. They uncover information where needed. This is also a placement where you could say Jupiter is expansive, so you see this power need for control. Charles Manson and Ted Bundy had Jupiter and Scorpio. Don't worry, because of all the serial killers, there's a lot of mutable signs on there, like Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius. So don't feel bad if you're Jupiter and Scorpio, because the sun signs for some of these like demented people is like, it's a long list of like mutable signs. Some of us are mutable signs. So like, but we're all not like that, obviously. But my point is, I'm trying to show you this example, like you can't let the energy overpower you. You have to control it, or it's going to control you. And again, you have to look at the whole chart of those individuals. they're not indicative of all people with Jupiter and Scorpio, but I'm saying, like, that's why I'm saying you have to use the energy in your chart, not let it use you. But Jupiter and Scorpio, put that to the side. In general, it's a good sign for people who can acquire power. Again, you just have to do it in the right way so you're not being abusive, because remember, Pluto can be abusive. Pluto can also be transformative. You just have to use it in the right way. And Mars is about aggression. Do you see what I'm saying? So people who use their Jupiter and Scorpio to acquire and to uncover and to be maybe investigative, maybe they're the people uncovering something that helps other people that nobody else knew about. That's Jupiter and Scorpio energy. But with astrology, I try to give you the good and the bad, and you make the decisions you want to make. Sagittarius, all right. So you live a purposeful life. The Sagittarius Jupiter person, they're like contagious. They're contagious. They want others to understand what life is supposed to be like. And you can have people that go to the extremes with religion as their belief system, or people that go to like more of the hippie ideology, like everyone is let's love, live in love. Like there's extremes with Sagittarius energy. But either way, they have a belief system, you know, and it could be really loose or it could be really rigid. And they help others, Jupiter and Sagittarius, expand. Like they want others to experience what they've experienced. So when a person has Jupiter and Sagittarius, they don't just stop at themselves. They give to others. They want others to have these opportunities. They might be the person that loves travel and they say, I'm going to open up a travel company. Or they might be the people who are very intellectually stimulated and they're like, I'm going to teach a course at a college about this because everybody needs to know about this. You know, they might be the people organizing a demonstration or organizing a protest. Like this Jupiter and Sagittarius energy has to do with that. You know, and people want to listen to them with the Jupiter and Sagittarius energy. And two celebrity examples are Snoop Dogg and Stevie Nicks as Sagittarius, Jupiter and Sagittarius energy. Capricorn. So Capricorn, Jupiter and Capricorn is strong. It acquires energy of success, being seen. So Capricorn tends to be kind of run of the mill. Like its goal is reputation and status and prestige. It's not attention. It's not like Leo. It's respect me because I'm powerful. Or respect me because I've worked so hard and I've acquired all of this. Respect me. Acquisition through hard work. You know, Jupiter and Capricorn. This is where you see the person who gets accolades for all the work they've done. So this is not Jupiter just giving, right? This is Jupiter living in the lens of I am accomplished. They could be trusted to carry out the duties of something. These people tend to be trusted to do things in a way that's right, in a way that it's been done. They're cautious and methodical. The Jupiter and Capricorn person's demeanor, probably not overly friendly, but kind of stoic, reserved. Think about Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg has that sign, Jupiter and Capricorn. Look at all he's accomplished. And he isn't an ostentatious person. He's not a person. Now, again, Capricorn will go through any lengths to get things. So you have to remember that. And remember the whole scandal with the user's information and that whole thing. He had to go to like trial. I don't know if it was a trial, just a court hearing or whatever the case would be. But like, so Mark Zuckerberg is an example of Jupiter and Capricorn, where it's like he's known for like Facebook, like that's huge, but he's not showy about it. He doesn't wear $1 million. He doesn't have like, it doesn't seem like he rolls around like $1 million cars and Lamborghinis, and he's dressed kind of normal most of the time. So that's an example of Jupiter and Capricorn energy. It's still reserved because it's about the respect. It's about, I built this thing that's gonna last. It's not about love me, look at me, I'm great. It's about look at what I've accomplished. I should be respected for that. And I'm not saying Mark Zuckerberg says those things, but I'm saying that's the energy like these people acquire through working hard, through doing something, through steadily working something up. Because who thought when Facebook started up, it was going to be as huge as it is? I mean, when Facebook first started up, it was for college students. I remember I was one of them. Like it was college, like you had to have a college email. And you could only write on people's walls and friend people. Like that was, and I think you could message people. That's it. And now you can buy things on Facebook. You can You have groups on Facebook. You can, message each other, like live chat thing. You can do so many different things. There's news stories on Facebook. You can share so many different things. Like, media has changed because of that. The way we get our news has changed because of Facebook, right? Because you have people who don't even open a newspaper anymore or CNN. They go on Facebook and people post the articles from these outlets. So that is an example of Jupiter and Capricorn. I apologize. I'm going to run it back. Jupiter and Leo. I did not forget about you. I just didn't have an order on my paper. I'm sorry. I love Leo energy. This is not a slight. I love Leo energy. Where did I write it? Jupiter and Leo. So Jupiter and Leo, it's a very auspicious placement because Jupiter likes shine, Jupiter sheds light, and Leo is ruled by the sun. And so what we have is this acknowledgement. These are people who can get their luck is who they are. They attract people to them. They attract crowds, or they attract popularity. That might be the person where they're popular or they're like making all this money and you're like, why do people like that person? Like, what do they do? And it's because they're Jupiters and Leo. And so they're brave. They're brave. They have this confidence about themselves. Whereas Aries is about impulse or I'm going to be on top, or I have that leadership. I'm drawing that opportunity to me. Leo is drawing people to them. So this is people that can be really good with, these are people who can make money off being popular, being liked, being seen, being known, shine. Their personality, their charm, they attract other people to them. They know the right people. Now, you have to watch with Jupiter and Leo because you don't want to over rely on that. Because the Jupiter and Leo person typically, because energy is strong, can be so strong that sometimes they struggle when they don't have that immediate attention on them. So Jupiter and Leo is great. I think great for people who can, who are in any type of business or opportunity where they need to attract a crowd. If you have a business, and you should put yourself on the face of the business. Your person, who you are, matters in that, because Leo is about attracting people to you or crowds or your confidence, leadership, but charismatic leadership, right? It's a little bit different than Capricorn's leadership and Leo's leadership is both strong, but they're different methods of doing that, right? So like Jupiter and Leo people should be the type of person, that puts their face on their business because it's going to draw that attention, right? It should be the person, you should be the head of your business. Yeah, sometimes some people have a business, but they have somebody kind of be their spokesperson, but they kind of just fund the money. No, if you're Jupiter and Leo, you have to be the center of attention in your own business, in your own endeavors. It's you, not others. You're not Aquarius, where we focus more on the community or we focus more on groups and impacting groups. But Jupiter and Leo just have to be careful of like not over relying on that, because you do have to develop other skill sets, not just I'm popular and everybody loves me, because there might be opportunities where not everybody gives that attention automatically. And you just don't want to be, feel condemned to it all the time. But that's a really good sign in Jupiter and Leo. I will post in a comment below a celebrity that has Jupiter and Leo because I don't have it in my notes right now. But didn't want to forget about Jupiter and Leo. All right. I did Sagittarius. I did Capricorn, Aquarius. All right. And Jupiter and Aquarius. So Jupiter and Aquarius. Aquarius is linked to groups and it's a fixed sign and it's ruled by Uranus. And so this is somebody, Uranus and Saturn. Magnetic ability in groups. The Jupiter and Aquarius person stands out in groups for some reason. Even if they're not trying to, there's usually some unique or distinct quality about them. They're not overly, they're cordial, but they're not overly warm, but somehow people still feel comfortable around them. They're successful. These people are the most successful in terms of impacting and influencing groups. You can shine, you will attract people who follow. Think about Aquarius is unorthodox thinking. So in anything that requires you to have to think outside the box, to have to think against the grain, to have to come up with things that are different, come up with new solutions, solve problems. The Aquarius Jupiter person, remember technology, Aquarius, Uranus rules technology. Aquarius is linked to technology. So this person can become really good at anything regarding technology, modes, media, attract opportunities that influence communities. So Jupiter and Aquarius people should typically be working in groups or with groups, impacting groups, spreading your unique ideology on groups, on the masses. Immense everyone in your ideologies. Yes, it might, again, this is not you dictating to them, because yes, Aquarius already has their fixed mindset. They already know what they think. You can't meander around them, right? Like a mutable sign, maybe. You can't meander around this Aquarius energy, but what can happen is they spread their awareness. They spread their energy. They tell people not what to think, but you spark that, like, hey guys, we need to be thinking like this. And because Jupiter is there, you have luck with that. You don't come across as pushy. You don't come across as trying to tell people what to do. Like maybe if someone had their Mercury in Aquarius in the first house, it could come across that way sometimes. Or Mercury in Aquarius in the ninth house and come across like, whoa, you're trying to tell me what to do. You're trying to tell me what to think. That can come across that way, but this won't. And two people that had that, Barack Obama and Albert Einstein, well, one is still here, thus Barack Obama and Albert Einstein. They have Jupiter in Aquarius. They have. So obviously Einstein is deceased, but Albert Einstein, I mean, think about, we talk about him today because his ability to impact, right, our understandings of things in a scientific way. We talk about Albert Einstein today. Kids study him. Everybody knows that name because he impacted groups. He impacted society. It wasn't just about himself and him getting attention for who he was. He's not a Jupiter in Leo or Jupiter in Aries, where that's more likely. Barack Obama, right? Like being considered, for presidency, being the first president, right? The first Black president of African descent, right? So we know Barack Obama, obviously we know he's biracial, but he's considered the first Black president, right? His identity, what he considers, but he, he's obviously biracial, we know his whole family story, but for all intents and purposes, right, he's considered the first Black president. So that's a first. That is unique. Jupiter Aquarius can be known for things that are different, unique. You did something nobody else was really doing at the time. And lastly, Jupiter in Pisces. Your Jupiter and Pisces person, this is where Pisces actually gets to show itself. We look at Pisces energy sometimes as it's so, sensitive and it's healing and it's gentle. But in reality, we need it sometimes to come to the surface. We need to heal. So society needs to heal. People need to heal. And Jupiter and Pisces people are really good with assisting that process and lifting it up for people. They know how to show compassion and shed light on why that's important. Jupiter and Pisces people tend to care for others, but it's not under the surface. It's what they do. It is their calling in a way. My mom has Jupiter in Pisces, and, she was a nurse. And even after she was a nurse, she was a nurse, and then she worked as a nurse for many, many years. And then she worked at her last job before she had to retire was a preschool. And so she always was helping someone, giving. But yeah, like over the years, she worked in like hospitals. She did assisted care. She, worked with just different people. She worked with, she was a nurse. When I was younger, she had a job where she worked with a disabled kid, I think. Like he was a kid. I don't remember the exact details, but he had gotten hurt in a he couldn't talk. No. I'm confusing two things. She cared for somebody that had gotten paralyzed from a motorcycle accident. And she also cared for a young boy who I think he had some type of disability, couldn't talk. So like my mom was always immersed in like helping and nurturing and assisting others in their having compassion, because not everybody can do those types of jobs. Not everybody can be a nurse or be involved in anything that requires caring for others. Like a lot of people can't do that. But anyway, the goal for these people is to be humane and to lift up gentle, the ability to like be gentle and like in a world that can be very harsh, in a world that can discard people, you know, the type of jobs that a Jupiter and Pisces person or a person with heavy Pisces energy gets is probably not going to be the same as a person with Jupiter and Leo, because they have different understandings of what should be expanded. And your Jupiter and Pisces person wants things to be expanded. They want things to be lifted up. They're like, this is how things should be. They bring light, they benefit, and it benefits them because people remember them. When you treat someone good, or you treat someone cares about good, you get benefits off of that, and I think because just my personal experience, I'm not Jupiter and Pisces, but my mom, like, I feel like she benefited from, because she was good to people and she had that like compassionate side to her, she did benefit sometimes when she needed something, or in the long run from her association with people, because she genuinely gave help without anything in return, unlike some other signs where like people just want something in return. So that's my experience with that. I just wanted to say that. Now, I didn't personally experience this with my mom because my mom's a Virgo and she's a Mercury in Virgo. And I think my mom's a Pisces rising too. I don't know her exact birth time because she doesn't have it, but she's ultra responsible. Like, my mom is just a very organized person, but like some people with Jupiter and Pisces can have an aversion to responsibility because they see it as not essential, because Jupiter is the original ruler of Pisces. Jupiter is about expansion. I told you earlier, Jupiter is not about responsibility. No. Jupiter is about, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna just chill right here. I'm gonna do this because this is interesting. Let me try this. And Pisces is relaxed, and it's mutable water, and it just flows. So some Jupiter and Pisces people, whereas most of us understand the need for responsibility. We understand that life comes with certain tasks. Jupiter and Pisces people can sometimes have a complete aversion to what's real, aversion to responsibility. They see it as not essential. Like, why are we living like this? We should be doing this. So they sometimes can blur what needs to be done with what they want to do in a more magnified way than any other sign. But again, I didn't personally see this with my mom's sign because she has earth placements and things like that. I think she's an Aquarius. She's an Aquarius moon, Virgo, Venus and Leo. Like I didn't see that in her, but that is a pitfall of some people with this sign. And some celebrity examples are Stevie Wonder and Billie Holiday. Those are examples. These people, as you know, like the impact, right, they have on bringing beautiful music to us, lifting us up, shedding light on situations, whether good or bad, through music. What more? Like, that's such a quintessential Jupiter and Pisces thing. So again, this was Jupiter through the signs. Again, it's really up to the person's individual chart. And again, as I said before, all energy is potential, right? It is up to you to use the energy or let it use you. And so hopefully this helped you understand a little bit more about your Jupiter sign. Thank you for watching.